Hey there, film fans. I'm Jeff.
I'm Dave.
And I'm John, and welcome back to The Love of Cinema, a pod in which we'll challenge one another to discuss movies, both new and old, with a strictly positive critical eye.
That's right. And to avoid lazy negativity, we're making this a drinking game. So anytime you hear us say anything negative, any negative comments, you're going to hear this sound. That sound means that we are taking a drink for being assholes, and we hope you drink along with us.
So, pour yourselves a glass as we continue to piss off almost the entire internet with some bonehead decisions of what movies to eliminate.
Cheers!
Cheers, you cunts.
Guys, I think I already know what I'm voting for this week. Our
that's the end of our
summer
show, folks.
blockbuster face-off. People, we are in the third decade, essentially, of our summer blockbuster face-off, where we're taking all of the highest-grossing summer movies since 1980, plus Jaws and Star Wars, and we are battling them off one by one. We have a bracket. Dave set the bracket up. It's in the socials.
Oh my God, the bracket is starting to take shape, and some of these are going to be brutal in round two.
Good.
People are getting angry. I mean, we had some tough ones in round one. Guys, we had fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark against The Empire Strikes Back, and we had Ghostbusters versus Back to the Future, which just honestly is living proof that the 80s were way better than this fucking decade we got to talk about today. But these movies are good. But I mean, all four of those movies would have beaten all four of these movies. I think that's where we're at. Do you guys agree, disagree? Are we off to a good start pitching the movies that we're going to be talking about today?
I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Well, today, people, 2004 to 2007, the highest grossing summer movies. And this is definitely when all of a sudden the numbers went, what? All these movies were making billions of dollars all of a sudden. And it was like, holy shit. So we have Shrek 2, 2004's highest grossing summer movie. That's right. Shrek and Shrek 2 were both the highest grossing summer movies. Got to listen to our episode last week for Shrek 1. Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, 2005. So those two will be battling it out together. Shrek 2 and then Revenge of the Sith, 2005. Note, which we talked about last week.
It's going to be the 5-minute section of our...
That's right. And last week, as we talked about, Attack of the Clones was not the highest grossing summer movie. It was the first Star Wars movie in the series to not be the highest grossing summer movie. But Revenge of the Sith brought it back 2005. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, 2006, highest grossing summer movie. The sequel to The Curse of the Black Pearl, which took the world by storm based on a ride. Starring Johnny Depp, of course.
No one saw that coming.
Nope. Dead Man's Chest made a ton of money in 2006. Yeah. And then Spider-Man 3. That's right. Spider-Man 3. Toby against Topher. Get a little Venom in there. Spider-Man 3.
A little
2007.
Venom.
So Pirates against Spider-Man. And we started this so we didn't have to talk about superhero movies or big budget. And here we are. But anyway, how you guys doing? John, you want to kick out our sponsor really quick, our musician, who, by the way, just reached out to me this week and said, how do I fix the YouTube thing? And I said, you listen to our podcast and all your answers are there. I'm kidding. John, shout our sponsor out. Let's go.
Actually, it's funny. I changed what music we used. Apparently, if we use the section we're using, we're fine. It's only if we use that other section, the algorithm takes exception.
What music is that?
Fucking weird, dude.
I know. Yeah, well, I think it's because at the beginning, the music, I'm using the music from the beginning of the show, and we all open our beers over the top of it.
Yeah.
And that might be enough to fool the algorithm. I don't know. I'm not saying that can do it, but everyone should try opening their beer over the top of music.
I'm not ready for AI to take over the world, personally.
Yeah.
I also wonder if it was an earlier.
It's not that good.
I also wonder if it was an earlier version of that song called it's from the piece Pacifica by Dasein.
Pacifica.
Music artist, Dasein, available on all the music platforms. Pacifica. I wonder if we have the latest version that what is actually now on Spotify.
No, we had an earlier one. We have the one we got the rights to like 3 years ago or 4 years ago.
Yeah, we might have an earlier one. So I wonder if it's literally just a master. Anyway, that's great. Dasein, listen to it. Wonderful music. Thank you.
I did start getting bitchy in my copyright lifting emails. I'm like, as I said last week, per my last fucking email.
Yeah, good. No, maybe that's all they were looking for. Just
love you, Dasein. All right, Dave, any news you want to talk about before we get into our series here?
Well, there is one thing. We've pissed some people off.
Good.
We pissed some people off. Our voicemail.
Fuck them.
Our voicemail. You don't even know who pissed off yet. Jesus. Our voicemail this week. Our voicemail this week received this after listening to our latest episode.
God
Let me take
damn
a
it,
guess.
guys. First, you shut out Ghostbusters unfairly, and now you shit on Shrek. Shrek doesn't go through? What is this? It's like you guys are trying to piss everyone off. By the way,
just
a
you.
vote for Mission
Just you,
Impossible 2 over Shrek is a vote for Limp Bizkit over Smash Mouth. So I hope you're proud of yourself. You voted for Nookie and Break Stuff over All-Star, a fucking national treasure song. All right. I still love you guys. Bye.
That was tough. To be fair,
we did.
To be fair to us, Shrek versus Mission Impossible 2 was really tough. That was really tough.
You know what?
Not for me, it wasn't.
It was not tough at all for me. And I'm excited to talk about it because we do have Shrek 2 coming up and, not giving the goods away. But I'm excited to talk about that one because I think that one stood out more. We did do it all for the Nookie.
Two of us did.
Always gonna go for that fucking Smash Mouth. Oh man,
you always gonna go for the Nookie.
I do. I regret
some.
That's it. You hear that? I do. I regret it a little bit, but I spoke the truth. John didn't sway me. I watched Mission Impossible 2, and it actually felt like a really good summer movie. And I remember seeing it in theaters and thinking it was cool. But Shrek is iconic. Anyway, I guess we'll talk about it more. Anything else before we get into our first battle?
No, I think we can get into it.
All right, let's do it.
Let's fucking do it.
Roll some signs.
I am excited. Jeff and I, this matters for both of us. I just want to... Jeff, are you excited to potentially not have to pay interest on your student loans? Because I'm excited. I'm really upset. Of course, that didn't go through with the debt relief, but this is fucking huge if he gets this through.
Guys, I got so mad because I filled out the FAFSA. I didn't have to use it because I was in scholarship. And then my last couple credits were in the summer. And I was ready to go, and I didn't have enough summer. It's the way it worked out. They wouldn't let me do it, so I just had to cut it like a $9,000 check and just go. So I actually
9,000. That's fucking chump
so
change. I would
and I was sitting there the whole time
if I only owed $9,000 after my fucking education.
Let's talk about money. All right, let's roll the DOS sign music, and then we'll get into our segment.
All right. The numbers.
All right.
We're talking about the movies of 2004. I'll do it.
John, what are the highest grossing movies?
Yeah. We got some other ones here. Unfortunately, for people who wanted to hear us continue with the Spider-Man thing, because we are basically doing one, and then in our next round, we will be doing three. Spider-Man 2 came out this summer, 2004, right behind Shrek 2 in position number 2. Came out June 30th. Just to give you an idea, just from my information right here in front of me, domestically, according to the numbers, Shrek 2 came in clean with about 441 million. Spider-Man 2 only came out with about 374. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's fucking incredible that Shrek beat it by that much.
Spider-Man 2 is an awesome movie, but Shrek 2, holy fuck, dude. It had all the weaponry. It had everything it needed to succeed. Yeah.
I know.
These are the domestic numbers.
Here's a weird number 3 for you, folks. The Passion of the Christ is number 3. Oh my God! For the year, that is
barely. It almost got Spider-Man 2. It's $3 million behind.
Wow, what is going on?
I saw that in theaters. He whipped Jesus so many times.
Dude, the evangelicals. He got his ass fucking kicked.
Yeah,
they were like, "This isn't accurate." I thought it was like 30 something.
And Mel Gibson was like, "Eh." All right. Brad Bird's Incredibles, number 4. I fucking love that movie.
Which one?
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, number 5. The Day After Tomorrow, Roland Emmerich, right? One of his continuing with his disaster movies.
Yes.
Born Supremacy, Meet the Fockers, Shark Tale, little SKG for you, and National Treasure. There are your top 10s. Then we get into some weird things, some Uncanny Valley-ness with the Polar Express. Sorry, Zemeckis, but the animation in that one it turned people off for some reason, didn't it? I don't feel like that thing really exploded.
That's not me. That's him.
Yeah, sorry.
Jeff, do I need to make the fucking buttons bigger? Like, what's going on?
Honestly, it is a little small, but that's for our YouTube audience. Is the visual?
Put on your glasses.
That's what she said.
All right, Jeff, why don't you set it up? I have a couple comedies I'll probably call out, but I think you'll get to them as well. Why don't you give us the year, the context?
All right. I'm going to quote Wikipedia shamelessly here. American film critic and professor Emmanuel Levy, so one of his friends, decided to write a Wikipedia entry, described 2004 as a banner year for actors, particularly men. I'll come back to Shrek. I'll come back to Shrek 2. Meet the Fockers.
Describe every fucking year.
Meet the Fockers was the top comedy over Bruce Almighty, both made by Universal, so big year for them. Fahrenheit 9/11 wins the Palme d'Or at Cannes. Michael Moore, of course. I saw that in theaters with my brother. And that also won a bunch of Razzies, and the Razzies sucked. Marlon Brando passed away at UCLA, John's rival. The Their hospital. Still fucked up there. The best film is kind of split all over the place. So you had Sideways came out this year, you might remember. And Avatar.
Ooh, wow.
Aviator. Aviator. Sideways and Aviator split the Globes. $1 Million Baby ends up going on to win the Oscar. Clint Eastwood, of course, would go on to win Best Director as well for $1 Million Baby. Hilary Swank, Best Actress. And Morgan Freeman, Best Supporting Actor. I saw it a long time ago, yeah. This was a year for Jamie Foxx, though. Wow, I can't fucking speak right now. The beer is just about to hit me. Jamie Foxx, you might remember, of course, for winning Best Actor for Ray, which he did basically a clean sweep. But he was also nominated for Supporting Actor for Collateral, the very rare actor nominated 2 times in 2 different categories in the same year for 2 different movies.
That's a great movie.
You also have good performances. You got Don Cheadle, Johnny Depp in Finding Neverland. That's Hotel Rwanda for Cheadle. You got Leonardo DiCaprio in there for Blood Diamond, but he also could have been nominated for The Departed. So good year again for men, for sure. Hilary Swank was a sweep. Annette Bening being Julia was in there. And then Morgan Freeman was a sweep. But you also had Clive Owen in Closer. And Thomas Hayden Church, more on him next year. For Sideways, he won some supporting awards, and Cate Blanchett wins for The Aviator. What the fuck is wrong with my talking? Cate Blanchett.
Here, let me help you.
I'm telling you, the alcohol is not quite hitting. Cate Blanchett for The Aviator beat.
Wow, this is fucking fantastic.
The Aviator.
She beats Natalie Portman for Closer, Sophia Okanata for Hotel Rwanda, Virginia. Fuck everybody. Laura Linney and Kinsey. Okay. Almost done. Alexander Payne and Jim Taylor win for Sideways. Eternal Sunshine. Also good Kate Winslet performance. Those are your screenplays. Yada, yada, yada. The Before Sunset series. Phantom of the Opera cast the Phantom who couldn't sing. Along Came Polly. The Butterfly Effect. Miracle. 51st Dates. Euro Trip.
51st Dates is awesome. Saying that right now. Dawn
of the Dead. Lady Killers, Hellboy with the Perlman, Walking Tall, come on, The Rock. The Girl Next Door, Emile Hirsch, let's go. Kill Bill Volume 2 comes out this year. Go through our feed. We talked about Kill Bill. And then really quick, there's a lot of romantic movies. So just a really quick set of romantic movies. I'm going to count Mean Girls in this because it's iconic. None of these are romantic, but there were a lot of romantic movies in there. But I'm just going to rapid fire. Man on Fire, Riddick,
That's
Saved, Dodgeball, shut up, The Terminal.
None of these are
White Chicks. Okay, fine. The Notebook.
You mentioned
Garden
taking your girlfriend to Riddick.
Catwoman. Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. Wait, Catwoman didn't come out this year. Yeah, fuck everybody. Alien vs. Predator. Shaun of the Dead. I Heart Huckabees, featuring one of the best on-set rants of all time. Ladder 49. Friday Night Lights. Al Pacino, let's go. Team America World Police. Saw. Alexander, Spanglish, and In Good Company. I defer back to you all with just saying this. Shrek 2 made $935 million worldwide. Fucking smoked Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Fucking smoked it. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, maybe the best in the series, get fucking smoked by Shrek 2. By $150 million. How about them apples? You ready to segue into our conversation about Shrek 2?
I do. I just want to call out, I don't think you mentioned it, one of my favorite comedies of all time came out this year, Bad Santa.
That came out, that was this year?
I see it down here.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I believe so. I think
love
it came
Bad Santa. I saw that with my mom in a hotel room once.
And Dodgeball, you mentioned that, but I also just
I have Bad Santa.
Dodgeball is one of my favorites.
I have Bad Santa.
It's a guilty pleasure.
But either way, I missed it last year, so it doesn't matter. Maybe that was a festival thing anyway.
We have visited this year before, and I think we did Catwoman.
Yes, we did. Right? We tried to. We tried a debate on it, and it just didn't work because it was so fucking bad. No one could fake liking it. So.
Bad Santa came out in 2003, at the very end of 2003, so it made a lot of money.
Okay, so it was still hanging strong. All right, well, fuck me.
All right, Shrek 2, people.
Whatever.
All right.
Let's do it, you guys.
Did you guys rewatch it?
I did. I watched it today, right before this.
I also watched Pirates today. Guys, I'm so happy. Out of all the shit that I take from John and his brother with their accounts, that I got to pay it forward because 3 out of our 4 movies are on Disney Plus and the other one's on Hulu, which is a Disney product. So you're welcome. I finally feel like I'm paying my dues. As we move into
this like franchisey time, you're probably going to get a heavier dose of that.
You're so welcome. I finally get to pay my dues back. All right, Dave. I've commandeered this segment long enough.
Dave, did you rewatch it or?
I didn't rewatch Shrek 2 because I have seen that a gazillion times.
All right. Okay. Well, what do you think? What are your thoughts of Shrek 2?
It really kicked it up a notch. Like it had better animation, better textures, better lighting, like look dev, everything. That they took everything that was good about the first one and threw it in and just doubled it, as you should in a sequel, and it works. it works perfectly. This is a really, really, really good animated film. Like, and I think the reason that it got such a bonus is because Shrek 1 was so good. When it came time to take your kids to it, everyone was like, fuck yeah, I'm taking my kids to see Shrek 2. That was fun for me.
Yeah.
Like, it sits right on that edge of, I'm still going to be a kid, but my kids are going to look at the pretty colors and, you know, see some of the fart jokes and like laugh and stuff. But yeah, like it's almost perfect. This is a great film.
Yeah, I mean, I could agree more. I feel like this was to steal a line from Jeff Ostermuller. It's like all the creators, the whole creative team just said, let's just have even more fun with all the things that worked with one. And I think it ended up yielding. I'm not saying Shrek 1 isn't also a good movie. We talked about it. We liked it. We didn't end up voting for it over MI2. For me,
fucking travesty.
Shrek 2 is on a whole other level. I thought Shrek 2 was... I think we even made that comment at the end of last week's. I think Jeff and I both agreed. Like, I think I remember liking Shrek 2 more. So I'm glad we got to watch it just because it was so entertaining. The storylines, there's a more complicated storyline. Yep. More characters are involved. So therefore, there's some more famous voices, which is always fun. But the characters they were playing were really great. And it's almost like they got away with just throwing in a lot more elements that maybe they just thought, how can we make this work and how can we make this fun? For instance,
I mean, the tagline could almost have been Shrek 2. Fuck it, we got away with it last time. Like, but they went hard. Yeah,
they did. So like, even like the way that they just kind of at the tail end decide to bring in the gang of fairy tale characters that live at Shrek's, the wolf, the three little pigs, Pinocchio, and Gingerbread Man. They're not really super heavily involved until the very end. And it's almost like they were just sitting around. They were like, how do we get these guys in there? And it works. They pulls it off. They come in and they're a part of the heist and they kind of end up being a part of the siege of the castle. And it just makes way for more comedy. I feel like there's even more heart here just because everybody is kind of there are all these different points of view on this tale. Are you going to choose authenticity and love over pretense and whatever the fairy tale conceits are? And there were more people who were involved with it. So more characters are being emotionally affected, which makes room for more comedy and more obstacles. I was so impressed. And I think I do remember, Jeff, I think we're right. I think when I was younger, I definitely rewatched number 2 more than I did number 1. I remembered a lot more of this movie than I did the first one.
I said that about this.
I thought you agreed with me that you liked number 2 more than number 1 when we were younger.
No.
Okay. So you're about to disagree with everything Dave and I are saying? Please do.
But here's the thing. I remember... I remember watching Shrek the Second, Shrek 2, and Shrek the Third at CPCC. I feel like we watched it that summer. I don't know why. I have a very vivid memory, especially Shrek the Third, and being like, oh my God, these movies are great. Good choices. How brilliant is it? Fiona's a princess, but she essentially gets kidnapped to this other kingdom. It's like, you know, like they just pick up where they left off. And they said, well, we want this whole ogre going into the kingdom. Can an ogre be a princess kind of idea? And they just take her home. Like, I feel like it's such a good device. I love that Prince Charming comes in, opens the story all over again, and then it's the wolf. But the way the wolf's in there, it's really funny. And honestly, for me, Puss in Boots is like, you know, I always say this, I say it usually about comedies and TV shows, the perfectly timed new character can do so much for a movie. And the fact, obviously, that you don't see him and then later it's just like an adorable little cat. It's like, it's Puss in Boots is such a brilliant character in this. I just didn't have as much fun. Watching it this time, there were a lot of sad times. And honestly, I kept writing the word clunky. I don't know why. There's just all of the dialogue with the dad and even like the fight where they're eating at where they're eating with the dinner and Shrek, they're trying to out-eat each other. Like, Shrek's an ogre. Of course he's going to out-eat the king. And like the whole thing it seemed a little childish and clunky to me. It just didn't seem good. It seemed a little cheap. It seemed like it was one gag that they were trying to drag out for 2 minutes and stuff. So I didn't love that, but I did love the action sequence at the end, and I liked the supporting characters. It was a drag. I feel like this movie was a drag. I could have used more Prince Charming and less.
Were you in a good mood when you sat down to watch this, or were you frustrated, or Did you?
I don't know. I thought I was in okay mood. I will say I had to watch all 4 of these fucking movies in the past 3 days. But
I'm kind of surprised. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised.
It is good. It's good, but there's a lot of. You said there's a lot of heart.
Somebody,
there's a lot of down. No, I mean, there's a lot of them like in an unhappy relationship. That's not as fun.
Yeah, and I guess the things that I was saying, that like somebody could take it the way Jeff's saying it. That there's just too many elements. There's just maybe there are too many things going on. I remember at the beginning thinking, and I think we're going to have a similar conversation in Spider-Man 3, that like, are there too many points of view? Are there too many new characters coming in? Yeah. And I don't know. I still think they pulled it off.
They stole from Austin Powers,
I just had a drink.
where they do that, where they finish each other's sentences in the different frame. Johnson.
They do that quite a bit in this Shrek series.
There's a lot of
that's always
Austin
a
Powers
little
references.
weird when they do that.
I mean, it's probably Mike Myers just throwing his usual gags in, because at this point he was getting famous enough that people weren't going, no, that's not a good idea.
Right.
Like, and that led us to The Love Guru, the second worst movie of all time.
It's kind of weird that somebody wasn't in the recording booth just saying like, Mike, can you try something else? That's already a legendary line from Austin Powers too.
Or they did it on purpose for the parents or something. Also, Donkey sounded more and more like Mushu to me in this one. There were a lot of times where he sounded exactly like Mushu. But I loved Hot Shrek really worked for me, and like all of the doting women. It's
Come on, Donkey didn't make you that when they
and then the noble
like the dinner table scene. I mean, yeah, the Steve thing's fine, but in the dinner table sequence when they're like, Harold, Fiona, Shrek, Donkey. But he just says his own name. Like, come on.
It's fun. It's fun.
John Cleese, Julie Andrews.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
British
also,
royalty.
I took that as a Rocky Horror homage as well when they're doing that.
Which part?
The naming sequence there. Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of elements. Yeah. Fairy Godmother, I think, worked really, really well as a foil that kept introducing new problems. Like, I like how she's presented initially. This sequence, again, we talked about it last time with the copyrights. I thought that was really wonderful, hilarious satire with the animation style, the Be Our Guest animation style. We go into that blue void
didn't do a whole
when she's
number.
singing her song. It was really funny, and they're listing all the things. How do they get away with that? At one point, at this point, people turn into Cogsworth and Lumiere. I mean, how do they get away with that?
Disney does have a sense of humor. It's not just a legal department, and if that thing's already making, the first one made what, God knows how much money. If they're in on the joke and they're not taking, like, they're not disparaging it, Disney will go, yeah. I mean, you heard the Free Guy thing.
Especially if the price is right. They probably got paid something for that.
And as we know from Roger Rabbit,
Disney will do this. Like, I was talking on another show, Matt and Mark, about Free Guy, when they got they got bought in the middle. They were in the middle of making that movie when Disney bought Fox. Right. And they called them up and went, hi, you just bought us. We're wondering, can we use some of the Disney library in the game world? And they got an email back going, yes, you can. And they're like, okay, just to clarify, what can we use? And Disney just replied back, all of it.
Did they say we have to distribute? We need distribution rights or anything?
Well, they already had it. They bought the fucking
so there you go.
studio. But it's so if Disney's in on the joke and you're not disparaging the character, they will go for it.
Well, I think it paid off. I think there were actually even less obvious Disney references this time. There were some she pulls the books off the wall, but I feel like there were less visual references. There were only a couple, but they were smarter. Like, I liked the way that they sometimes paid homage, in the style of animation, but not necessarily literally showing you a character from them.
They got clever.
They had a Lord of the Rings moment when Fiona's ring was up in the air and then she caught it. Yeah, so they did.
The classic.
I think Fiona murdered a mermaid too in that montage. As a mermaid, she threw it, and then you just see sharks come out of the water and they're smiling. I'm like, wait, did she just murder that mermaid?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I think she ate it. I feel like there's a classic Shrek. There was some funny sexual innuendo jokes that made its way in there for the parents and stuff. There's still a good amount of that, but I don't know. For me, I feel like there was.
Don't let me bring you down.
Comedy,
don't let me yuck your yum.
More mayhem. Yeah, I enjoyed this. I definitely had more. I don't know what we called them, Jeff. You just said you feel like there were more like down moments because of like the characters they were in conflict.
They were struggling. They were struggling. Both couples were struggling.
But I had definitely more moments in the first one, and I think you did agree with me, where I was kind of like bored, where there was just a little bit like what's happening, and
On a rewatch,
whether or not this one felt clunky or was too much.
Dave.
I feel like I was entertained the whole time. Anyway, that's Shrek 2.
That's
Did we
Shrek 2.
squeeze the lemon? Yeah, let's move on.
All right.
Gotta save something for if it gets put through.
2005. What a year. John, you got the numbers up there for the highest grossing domestic movies of 2005.
Yeah, again, domestic, folks. So Revenge of the Sith is the one we're talking about here. But number 2, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which I believe is number 4.
Yeah, that's where shit got real.
Yeah, the end of that one is, spoiler alert, Cedric fucking dies.
Yeah.
Where did Cedric come from? Most popular kid in school.
vampire.
We didn't see him for 3 years.
Yeah, Jeff loves talking about this. How did the most popular kid in school? How did Robert Pattinson not get talked about until book 4, dude?
That's it.
Give it up.
Okay.
War of the Worlds, number 3, which obviously was another summer movie. So technically that's the number 2 behind Star Wars 3, Revenge of the Sith. Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. Then we have fucking Chronicles of Narnia. Guys, I never really got on board with that that movie
I got
series.
on board
I feel
the
like I
ship
read those
once.
books.
I've stood on the ship of the Dawn Treader, like on the deck. So I totally got on board, but I didn't like the movies.
They made a ship out of this. Wedding Crashers, yes, number 5, dude. Oh fuck yeah, god damn it! Oh,
Don't
I'm so
ever
glad
leave,
that's number 5
I'll
for the year.
find you.
Oh my lord, that movie, it deserves everything it has. God, I rewatched that.
She was gold in that movie.
We watched it last. Elizabeth and I have seen that like twice in the past 2 years. It's still fucking hilarious.
I'm gonna make you a bicycle. Okay.
That's it, Charlie. You tell that mean ocean. Jesus. Oh,
Carry
but
on.
that make you love me? Jesus. God damn it.
Oh my god.
Okay. Batman Begins, number 7, folks.
Number
Kind of put that
7.
in context for you. Isn't that fucking crazy? That came out in June 2005.
Yeah.
Like,
And that was
right in the heart of the summer.
Number 10 in the
And
worldwide gross.
I mean, we'd all had a little
Crazy.
trouble with Batman before. So Batman Begins, everyone was like, oh.
Which is straight. I saw it at least once in the theater.
I saw it.
I
I think I saw it twice.
I don't think we had that was one of the best movies I've ever seen, that like we did with Dark Knight, but still I remember thinking like that was fucking fantastic.
Awesome.
That was
Yeah.
like an adult Batman
I mean,
movie.
I put the international box office up at that point because I was still in Australia. So
Yeah. Madagascar, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Hitch, it's Peter Jackson's King Kong. He waited so long to make it.
yeah.
Fantastic Four. I cannot believe that made the top 20. That movie was not the
got that
best.
IP.
movie.
The original was not bad, but there's a rumor that came out this week actually that some of those characters might be appearing in Deadpool 3. The OG
Wow.
Fantastic Four, namely Chris Evans as the fucking flame.
Fire,
So,
human, flame guy. And then,
Human Torch.
this is fun to think about.
I
Wedding
was joking.
Crashers.
I didn't forget.
All right. Yeah, you didn't. I was about to say, there's no fucking way you forgot. Number 5, Wedding Crashers for the year. The beginning of like a big Judd Apatow movement. Number 18, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. So, we're going to see 2 directors, a group of stars that we're about to begin like a fucking decade run of just out of the park. Every time they made movies, people went to go see them. Judd Apatow, Steve Carell, Paul Rudd.
It was almost like a 60s style rebellion, that one.
With the comedies, those
no,
guys?
with those guys, yeah.
Yeah, I will say that I feel like we're in a period of time right now.
Piss off your parents.
Yeah, we're in a time right now where I feel like the rated R or the adult comedy is kind of like not really what it was.
Yeah,
it's true.
But there was a period of time in the early 2000s where like they were still making movies like that, and people still showed up and saw them at least once in a theater. They still made a lot of money. Anyway, Jeff, give us some context.
I'm gonna give you the AFI top 10 for the year. So you got Brokeback Mountain and Crash. Crash famously won Best Picture over Brokeback Mountain, despite Ang Lee getting the Best Director in a clean sweep. Every imaginable award, Ang Lee won for Brokeback Mountain. Capote, Philip Seymour Hoffman, would go on to win Best Actor. The 40-Year-Old Virgin was on the AFI top 10 list. Good Night and Good Luck, the black and white, George Clooney, get at. A History of Violence. Let's go, Vigo. King Kong was in that top 10. Munich, which is, honestly, I think it might. I love West Side Story. It might be Steven Spielberg's best movie since 2000. Munich. It's so goddamn good. Tony Kushner's script. No, John Logan's script.
Good.
No, Tony Kushner's script.
It is
Squid and the
Tony
Whale,
Kushner,
and then
yeah.
Syriana would get George Clooney an acting Oscar, which I feel like people tend to forget. This nice
I love that movie.
geopolitical theory, and he beat Jake Gyllenhaal at the Oscars very famously in that supporting category. Paul Giamatti for Cinderella Man was also up. You had Joaquin won the Golden Globes for Walk the Line. That happened this year, right?
Nice, dude.
Was it Walk the Line this year?
The least weird film he's ever made.
It had to have been.
Yeah, and
Yeah. It had to have
then
been.
yeah, so that's Reese Witherspoon, and then Rachel Weisz, almost a clean sweep for Junebug, for Constant Gardener, but Amy Adams won for Junebug there. Michelle Williams, Brokeback, Teddy Newton, Crash won some things, but yeah, Rachel Weisz, Constant Gardener, shout out. Wallace and Gromit, best animated movie, and It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp wins best song. A couple quick movies that are going to jump out because we're getting on with this segment. There's a couple good ones.
Dude, I don't think you'll ever top Blame Canada at the Oscars.
Oh yeah, they're on acid when they show up. Yeah, it's amazing.
Fucking hilarious.
White
Robin
Noise.
Williams singing.
There we go.
Blame
Rapid
Canada.
fire. White Noise. Electra. Hide and Seek. Boogeyman. Man of the House. Sinbad. What's up? Be Cool. The Jacket. Pacifier. Hostage. Ballad of Jack and Rose. We love Ballad of Jack and Rose. Sin City. Fever Pitch. The Amityville Horror with Ryan Reynolds kind of fucked me up. Reefer Madness, the movie musical. Congrats to John and company for their 250th episode on Life is But a Song. We were on there talking about Reefer Madness, which came out on 4/20 this year. Go listen to our Reefer Madness episode. The Interpreter, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Ballad, House of Wax, Kicking Screaming, Longest Yard remake, Lords of Dogtown's a good movie.
Wait, is that the House of Wax that burnt down Studio 8 at Warner Brothers?
I think so.
Yeah.
Four Brothers.
There's a funny story about that because I was there the night it happened.
North Country, Jarhead, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Pride and Prejudice, Exorcism of Emily Road, Corpse Bride. Dave, what are you talking about?
I was working at the time. I was working in the theme park next door when they burnt down Studio 8 at the end of like they weren't even supposed to be filming it that night, but basically the thing went up. We saw this glow, heard all these fucking sirens, alarms going off. So of course, where they're doing a night function, we jumped in a car and went up there. So and all these cameras are filming like there's fire going off and everything. If they'd panned just to their right, they would have seen me and Batman sitting in the Batmobile watching this fucking thing burn.
This is in Australia?
This is in Australia, yeah.
Oh my god.
They burnt down Studio 8 at the end of the House of Wax, yeah.
Fucking Warner Brothers just caught on fire here last week.
Yeah. They mentioned the House of Wax story,
which is kind of a weird big deal because Warner Brothers infamously, like a lot of their fucking studio burnt down like a long time ago. One of their massive stages in the back like caught on fire and like the fucking lot burned down.
Yeah. It was like $15 million damage, I think. They took the whole studio out. It was knocked down. Saw? Yeah. They took out a whole soundstage.
Crazy. Damn.
But yeah, me and Batman were hanging on the hill.
I want to call out two of my, we didn't say it in the last year, but this year, some really fantastic Asian martial arts after the Crouching Tiger kind of gave birth to like, what if we do dramas?
Daggers?
This year's Daggers and last year was Hero. So 2004 Hero, Jet Li, this one House of Flying Daggers, Yao Zhuang. How do you say his? I'm going to fuck that up, the director. But magnificent movies. God, I love those. It was so weird. Like where there was a period of time where like we could go see, foreign films were not super commercial, but these kind of poked through after Crouching Tiger. There were some movies like this that really made their way in. I love both of those movies so much.
Nice.
Blade Trinity.
Oh, sorry.
Blade Trinity. Oh my God. Where at least 2/3 of the cast gave a fuck.
Segueing back into Revenge of the Sith here. Revenge of the Sith had the highest day ever. $50 million in a single day. I think that's been broken since, but $50 million. It topped Spider-Man 2's $40 million. So it literally tacked on 25% more.
I can understand that because Attack of the Clones was a better movie. So
it's true.
It was a much better movie.
The reviews matter though because this is probably the first day people didn't hear.
Like everybody saw Attack of the Clones and they were like, "Great, we'll go and see the third option."
And to make sure we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's, Goblet of Fire technically made more money in the worldwide box office, but it didn't come out in the summer, and it's our show. I'm kidding. But Star Wars is Revenge of the Sith.
Harry Potter.
So let's do it. John, I saw you rewatching this. I rewatched this.
I actually did not rewatch this because I watched all of these like last year.
I put on Attack of the Clones to because I didn't want to miss the middle of the story, and I think I lasted up until Anakin and Padme reunited, which is about 15 minutes in the movie, and I turned it off, went straight to number 3.
That sweet house though on Lake Como is fucking what's up, dude. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having some sex there. Sorry guys.
I'm not buzzing that. Sounds great.
Jesus.
Okay, Davis.
Come on, Lake Como. We're all having sex in Lake Como if we're at that place.
Let's go. Can't call the show off.
Who wants to talk about this first? Revenge of the Sith.
I'll go first this time because Dave is hesitating. I agree with Dave that number 2 for me is the best movie for sure of the first 1, 2, 3. It's my favorite, as I talked about last time. It's number definitely 2? Yes. So I'll get to 3 in a second. The politics, I feel like, are the best part about 1, 2, and 3. It's not, for me, it's not necessarily about building up the saga between Obi-Wan and Anakin. It's not about Padme and Anakin. I'm sorry, but like it wasn't
about them until later when they brought Clone Wars, the animated series, in.
Sure, which and maybe they pull it off better then, but it's just not as much of a standout for me.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree.
So anyway, that said, I think the best part of Revenge of the Sith is what's happening politically and with the Clone Wars. So you have, all this stuff that's happening right there. For me, what's happening with Anakin, because he's becoming Darth, is just, it almost feels like fodder. And I know that like there was no way they wrote themselves into that corner where of course he has to become him at that point. But there's just a little bit of it's just so heavy-handed that when they finally arrive at the big fight at the end, I'm super rooting for Obi-Wan. Like I'm in the right place. They are setting me up to go into 4. It's tragic, but there are just some elements of Anakin's, position as a new Sith that just feel a little bit. There's so little conflict in him that there's almost no journey. So it kind of forces us into just feeling like, when is Obi-Wan going to do what he has to do? So when he finally, sure. When he finally, all right. My hairs stand up on my arm when Obi-Wan steps out of the plane, when he finally goes there at the end and he knows, I have to do this because I'm totally on his side. Like I get the feelings there. It's bad, yeah. And I mean, Ewan McGregor works his fucking ass off in number 2 and number 3 of these movies. He also has the whole
Except
other
for this.
part.
The hand acting like is not good for me. It just that he didn't sell that. I was like, I'm angsty.
Sure. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, trilogies are fucking hard, so I'm not gonna like hate on this too much. It's hard to wrap shit up, even if you're gonna move into something else. But there's something about that. I guess that might be what it is. There's such a lack of conflict in Anakin that we kind of already know what's gonna happen the whole time. You're kind of just watching these things kind of play out a little bit, and I think that's always just frustrated me. And then without picking on the movie, like I don't want to pick on it, but there are elements of how they portray Anakin in that state of mind. And then at the very end with him becoming Darth Vader, no, it's just kind of silly.
A bit much. That was naff.
Yeah. And I think it's just, whereas number 2 kind of feels like a
number
more
2's
adult
a detective story
version.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the detective story.
And I do love that. Yeah.
Noir stuff. So I just don't like the love dialogue.
Do you want to hear a really funny story? Just for fun, I busted out the AI because I had access to ChatGPT-4 for like a minute. And I was like, find me talking points about the production of Revenge of the Sith to see what it came up with. And I immediately canceled the whole idea because one of the points to come up with was the lightsaber fight. The final lightsaber fight in the movie was filmed on the planet Mustafar, which is volcanic, and one of the cameras actually melted during shooting. That was a talking point it offered me to talk about.
There you go, folks.
Yeah. So yeah,
don't use it.
Stop using your fucking AI. I threw the shit out, and I was like, I sat there and did internet research. But I will say, fucking Obi-Wan is a dick. It's like, I loved your father. Yeah, I left him burning, sizzling, screaming, and moaning on the side of a rock and fucked off. Like, the guy's still alive. He's cut his legs off. He's caught fire. He's still screaming, and he's walked off in the sunset. It's
he murdered a bunch of children. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
I mean,
That's fair. That's fair.
He did
That's a fair point.
completely turn. Yeah.
Christopher Lee loves being the villain who dies very early in the third installment.
I mean, a Jedi above a mercy stroke? Okay, I want to say, Christopher Lee and Ian McDiarmid are the only two who understood their assignment in this movie. In all the movies, in that whole trilogy. They understood their fucking assignment and they rocked it.
I agree. I agree with that.
Who was the other person? Who'd you say? Lee and who?
Palpatine. Ian McDiarmid.
He understood his like even in the first one, like when he comes in and they've just announced him as a candidate, the look of pride on his face immediately sells. That's a fucking Sith Lord. I think nobody gets it.
They told us visually at the end of the first movie, at the end of Phantom Menace, that he was obviously, not that there was any doubt, but he was obviously the Emperor. I don't know if they pulled it off really well. That it's a secret that everybody knows except people in the movie. So I think that was kind of hard. The thing for me in this one that was tough, because I actually like the politics too, but if you just track the Jedi Council, and we've already talked in the past, like they should have done the Jedi training. So they did it with the animated series, but the Jedi Council just sits in that room, and that's it. So we'll see them, and then it'll cut to the Senate, and they'll see them, and then it'll cut to the Senate, and then they'll see them, and then it'll cut to the Senate.
Three guys that just zoom in once a week and judge everyone,
and then
or something.
And then they finally send Obi-Wan out to find Grievous. And then they say, okay, he's got Grievous. Oh, the Senate is compromised, so we're going to have to take over the Senate. And the Jedi Council's not moving. They're just in this room talking. That's the only time we see them. So even though we're cross-cutting a lot, so like the story is moving forward, they're not. And the Senate's
they're
moving.
The fucking Judean People's Front from Life of Brian.
It's just, I like the detective story thing was such a good idea, and they were in motion a lot in the second movie. And even though the second movie is not great because a lot of the dialogue and a lot of the love stuff.
Something's happening, Reg. Something's actually happening.
But in this movie, there's just a lot of talking. And then Obi-Wan just finds Grievous and there's a fight. And it's like, man, we didn't earn that at all. Like it just, because he had one conversation at the dock, he's like, we found them. So I'm going to go on this beautiful peacock and then I'm going to be there. And it's like, it just kind of bummed
lizard
me.
Monster.
And so the battles were huge. But honestly, it's like usually when I'm doing rewatches, sometimes I fast forward to the battles because I've seen these movies a million times and I just want to remember the yucks. And it's like, in this time, I should have just fast forwarded through the scenes. So even though the politics stuff is good, all they're doing is talking about it. That's it. And it's too much. It's too bad because there is good stuff in here. I think this is the best out of the three. I disagree with John on that, but I think parts of 2 are better, including seeing the clones. Nothing is better in this whole series than the first time Obi-Wan shows up on that planet.
When he goes
it's raining,
to that planet,
he sees it, and then they realize they've been compromised and they're trying to keep him there. That is the best part of this.
I like the original cut of this movie was like 4 hours long, almost 4 hours long.
They're always really long.
Yeah,
I do not like that last battle with Grievous, though. I don't like the CGI monster of all these the whole CGI of it all with these 1 through 3. I just don't enjoy Grievous as a character. I don't feel like they gave him a lot of. There's really no reason for him. They just needed a villain.
Okay, hear me. The coolest moment in this film.
More lightsabers than Darth Maul.
Yeah,
with just lots of lightsaber. Yeah,
the coolest moment in this film is when Yoda walks through that fucking door.
Sure.
And boom, knocks the guards out.
Come on. When he grabs the 2. And of course, like I said, when Anakin walks out of the ship, or Obi-Wan, I get the feelings. When even though we saw Yoda kick some ass at the end of 2, when Yoda walks in, you're just waiting for him to show up so him and McDiarmid can fucking go to town on each other. And that's a good fight. Like, that's still a fun fight. Only if, because we didn't really talk about this, because we didn't talk about 2, with the 1 through 3s, you're either on board with CGI jumping all over the place Yoda, or you're not. So if number 2's fight didn't work for you, this one
in 2 they were still half and half. For the still shots they used puppet Yoda, but this is the first time they went full CG.
The best part about the fight in number 3, though, which I'll give them credit for, because I was always, as a kid, so intrigued by, why is this master on this weird planet by himself? I like that he loses. The actual losing and the way he goes about it. I think they track it pretty well emotionally through the fight, but I like that he puts himself into exile. I thought that
cool.
was kind of a touching story piece, that he was so ashamed.
I failed.
Big picture, that seems kind of not very Jedi of you to just give up and put yourself in exile.
Who hasn't had their ass handed to them and skulked off to a foreign planet with a swamp?
You can't go fucking punish yourself and then tell me try or there is no try, there is only do. So I feel like he kind of sped in his own face a little bit.
And
but
it's gaggy with the Wookiees and stuff. But it's fine. I wish they had more to do with Natalie Portman. They kind of turned her into like.
I was just about to say, how do you feel about her? Because her arc is super 2-dimensional, and then at the very end,
she got benched for this whole movie almost.
She was pregnant. They literally said, "You're pregnant. We don't know what to do with you."
Yeah.
I mean,
she was a much, much bigger part of number 2. Yeah. Like, I like how they elevated her up a lot in number 2. All right, guys.
I also, the last thing I'll say too is I'm just a bum too, and this, the Clone Wars and all those kinds of things. Because they didn't have the effects in the original trilogy. Whenever there was a Jedi, there's power. You could feel that they're in tune with the walls and stuff. In this case, the Jedi just talk, and it's like I don't need them to fight. I don't need the battles, but I just want to feel that. What is it like to have somebody who's that present and emanates literally the energy of the universe and is in full control?
Except for Samuel L. Jackson, who got to choose his own lightsaber color.
Well, yeah, great. He got to choose his own color. That makes everything right in the world. No, I mean, his moment with the Palpatine was great. That was a good turn. Yeah. It was a little kitschy because, of course, it was Samuel L. Jackson. So it's a little like, yeah. It's a little bit like, we must call on the Wookiees. And it's like, yes,
he stands to this day by the fact that he's not dead either, by the way.
Sure. But like, I just don't feel it. I can't believe you have these Jedis after years and decades of people obsessing over them.
Well, that's why they fell.
And I don't feel them. I don't feel the power.
That's why they fell. They're saying the new Jedis are very cocky. Everyone's getting a little bit cocky.
Cheap ass
excuse. Pride, you fall.
I want them to feel it and be wrong.
They heavy-handedly say it in the movie.
Those cocky bastards. Those cocky bastards. All right, anyway, I don't need to talk about this anymore. Fuck, I really don't want to vote for Shrek. I really don't want to vote for Shrek 2.
I was going to say, we just complained a lot about. I'm just curious where we're going to go with this, because once again, I think all three of us will happily sit down and watch these movies if anybody wants to hang out, and they're easy to gripe about.
Can we
There's
bring
a lot
Raiders
of things
back?
that
Can
don't
Raiders
work
beat them?
about 1, 2, and 3.
Can Raiders beat them?
So let's see, you guys. Let's put it to the test. I'm going to make Jeff Ostermuller vote first because he was talking shit.
I'm going this. No. I'm going Revenge of the Sith. Shrek 2 was not fun for me. At least this one had good action sequences, even though I shat on this
Dave?
for 15 minutes.
Shrek 2.
Oh.
Wow. Oh man.
Do it.
I'm going Revenge of the Sith.
Yes! God!
Fuck all of us.
We have to disagree. Dave is always on the Lonely Island. I can't believe we just shat all over this movie. I can't believe this. Nobody's going to take us seriously ever again. We just shat all over this movie.
I think the proof is in the pudding. I think the proof is in the pudding. Dave,
what the fuck are you talking about?
Ready? Hold on, wait. I think we're going to answer it right now.
Wait, how did John vote for this?
Which movie have you seen more, Shrek 2 or Revenge of the Sith?
Shrek 2.
Liar.
No, absolutely. Like the prequel trilogy is a band in my house. My wife will not sit through them.
I can't.
But also, I own them.
I can't believe.
But no, I've seen Shrek 2 more than I've seen Episode 3.
Matt, you don't have to call. We know. We know.
I can't believe that just happened. Fuck.
I can't believe that just happened. Sorry, John. That's what I felt last week.
Yep.
Dave, what does it feel like to be on that lonely island every week?
I don't know. I don't know whether to go pee or kill myself.
This is the tale.
I should buzz you, but I should also buzz us for doing this. John, I can't believe you voted for this movie. What the hell?
I can't believe it either.
I can't believe Raiders and fucking Ghostbusters are out.
I can't wait for your vet next day at film school. After I hear this.
I'm going to go in and say that
All right, people. Enough is enough. We have spoken. Somehow
he's not paying your tuition, John.
Of the Sith. One Star Wars movie is a second Star Wars movie has advanced. Only 2. Well, I guess if you count the original one. Okay, so 3 out of the 6 have advanced. But people, we have to take a very, very, very short break. You're gonna hear some Dasein for a second. Go listen to Dasein on all your shit. We're gonna refill and pee, and we'll see you in a second.
Put it on your YouTube videos.
It's a battle: Dead Man's Chest against Spider-Man 3. See you soon.
What do you think's gonna win?
Who fucking knows after what just happened?
And we're back.
We're back.
All right,
we're back. We're back. Apparently,
cannot
I
believe
need
it just
the only animated films that are going to get through for me are ones that make me cry because Nemo.
You said
apparently
only
stood out.
good things
Apparently
about
I need
Shrek
to
2.
I'll make you cry, motherfucker.
He said only good things about Shrek 2 and only negative things about Revenge of the Sith, and then it moves on. Man, Matt and Mark, we don't even need you to, we know. We
Dude,
already
the whole I'm gonna tag this so the whole internet comes for you.
Yeah,
I can actually see Matt and Mark. I love you guys, but I could see you guys being like, no, 1 through 3 are the best episodes. I could see y'all like writing an entire dissertation on how episodes 1 through 3 are the best.
I could see Mark saying Phantom Menace is the worst movie he's ever seen.
Yeah, stop
the
trying to
second movie
justify your
sucks, and the
bonehead
third
fucking
movie's
decision.
the best movie he's ever seen. I can actually see that. All right, we got to move on. It is now officially time for Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest. Again, Spider-Man 3. Obviously, the best movies in their respective franchises up against each other. So we're going to start with 2006 and Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest. But John, give us some context. What movies made some money, certainly domestically, in 2006?
And while he's doing that, Jeff can drink.
Yeah, sure. Pixar reigning true. Man, they have been top 5 every year, basically, that they are making any movies. Cars is number 2, right behind Dead Man's Chest. The first Cars movie. Owen Wilson leading the pack.
And we should say Dead Man's Chest fucking smoked all of these movies. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost 100 million more.
Domestically.
Than Cars. Yeah, domestically. X-Men 3, The Last Stand, somehow is still number 3. We did, as a community, I don't think we liked that movie as much as we wanted to.
I can't buzz that. But no, that was terrible.
Are you buzzing yourself?
Well, that you can buzz.
Number 4, The Da Vinci Code. Number 5, Superman Returns. 6,
I love
Ice
the Da Vinci
Age.
Code.
Sure, especially the first one. The first one is fun.
Yeah.
That theme that Hans Zimmer writes. God, that's good.
Good
Happy Feet. Number 7.
Oh yeah.
Number 8. Guys, help me out here. Over the Hedge. I like to think of myself as someone who knows movies.
Yeah,
I don't even remember that movie.
No, it was a very obscure animated film.
Okay, I did not see it.
Yeah.
I don't even remember it. Number 9, Casino Royale. Fuck yes, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
Had
what
me in the
a
first
fucking
5 minutes.
Great first movie of a new Bond. God, I love that movie. And number
Casino
10, they're back again. I told you that we are in a period of time where these comedies are going to be coming out. Talladega Nights.
Hell yeah.
The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, number 10. Fantastic.
On fire.
We're right
I'm
in the
on
midst
fire.
of that shit.
Yeah, first to last. It's so
Save it, Tom
good.
Cruise. Save it. Jeff, what do we got for the more serious
Funnily enough, I
aspects
had
of this
a
year?
car accident once where a guy pulled out of a bar in front of me, and he was driving like his dad's sports car, and I was driving like 1 ton of Australian Tirana steel, and I hit the brakes. I'm sliding, and but I'm sliding. I can see this is not going to work. I'm not going to stop in time, and I took the time in mid-slide to say the Tom Cruise line. Oh, this is going to hurt. And then I hit the guy, and I got out of the car. I'm like, "Hi, how you doing?" Because he just pulled out in front of me drunk.
Shit.
Did I
In the
give
car,
you a
that's
denty? A denty? Yeah, good story, Dave.
Fucked up,
Let's
didn't
go.
I? Yeah. No, I drove away from that. He didn't.
Wow.
So, just for
Hit and
worldwide
run
box
Dave.
office, Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest made more than $1 billion at the worldwide box office, and number 2 is actually the Da Vinci Code at
That is
767.
insane. $1 billion.
Yeah, this movie.
So much money.
Yeah, Casino Royale, a Bond movie, made half as much.
If I
as this
remember
movie.
correctly, I think they were paying Johnny Depp like $60 million a movie for these movies.
Well, because
at
I think
one point.
they were
but,
building in
like-
the fact that they knew they were going to hit these goals.
But every time he came to Australia, we killed one of his dogs. So
Well, yeah, that was the goal.
yeah,
He kept sneaking the little fuckers in. Yeah.
Sony Pictures made $3 billion, is the highest gross for them
that
ever.
politician was a fucking idiot.
Dead Man's Chest is only the 3rd movie to make $1 billion, and now it sits as the 35th highest grossing movie of all time. But at the time, it was number 3, so that just shows you how much fucking Marvel ruined all of these statistics.
Do you remember
Okay,
what was it behind? What was number 2 and number 1?
well, Titanic was number 1,
Yeah.
and then
Spider-Man?
it's got. I think it's Spider-Man 2. I think that that's my guess, but I don't know, man. Anyway, so the best film was all over the place. So at the Golden Globes, it was Babylon Dreamgirls. And then you have The Departed, Little Miss Sunshine, and The Queen won the BAFTA. And then The Departed would go on to win Best Picture at the Oscars. So this is probably best known as the year that Martin Scorsese finally wins for The Departed. And they must have known he was going to win because Steven Spielberg, Francis Ford Coppola, and George Lucas presented the Oscar for Best Director. So you're telling me they didn't know that this guy was going to... Can you imagine if they give it to somebody else?
Apparently they don't, but yeah, we'll see.
And they made a joke about winning Oscars, and George Lucas was like, "I never won an Oscar." Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker basically does a clean sweep for The Last King of Scotland, which is funny because James McAvoy probably has a bigger role in that movie, but Idi Azim, I mean...
It's his Apocalypse Now win. It's his Marlon win, right?
And Sacha Baron Cohen wins the Golden Globe for Best Comedies. He gives a very strange speech, but because he was very surprised. Helen Mirren does a clean sweep for The Queen, and Meryl Streep wins Best Comedy for Devil Wears Prada. So we're talking heavy hitters here. Jennifer Hudson does a clean sweep, literally a queen every single imaginable category for Dreamgirls. And then this is a famous
Dreamgirls is when Eddie Murphy stormed out of the Oscars when he didn't win, right?
Well, as I was just about to say, so Eddie won almost every award except for, I forget. Actually, honestly, I think it was the BAFTA. Alan Arkin only won the BAFTA and the Oscar, and Alan Arkin passed away this past week. R.I.P. Oh my God! And honestly. Look, Eddie Murphy was so goddamn good in Dreamgirls. Alan Arkin in Little Miss Sunshine is just, just so special, man. That scene that went viral, I shared it.
Even his Get Smart performance is amazing.
Do you think I'm a loser? Why? Whoa! Daddy hates losers. Oh my God, that whole scene. A loser is someone who didn't even try. You're trying, aren't you? Well, then you're not a loser. Ugh. Okay, William Monahan wins for The Departed.
Chief, are you thinking
Oscar.
what I'm thinking? Are you thinking, oh fuck, I'm gonna die?
Fuck a lot of girls. Oh my God. Little Miss Sunshine wins. Pan's Labyrinth wins film not in the English language. And this is also a famous year because An Inconvenient Truth, Al Gore, was apparently 15 years ahead of his time when it comes to climate change. And it also won, I think, Best Song.
He was right on time. They fucking ignored him.
Actually, George H.W. Bush talked about climate change in the 80s. So, God, we're fucking stupid. We deserve to all die, all of us. A couple other movies that came out this year.
We're gonna.
When a Stranger Calls, Date movie, failure to launch, fucking McConaughey. She's the Man. Thank You for Smoking. That movie kind of fucked me up. That movie, the end of it, where he says to Congress, like, I don't mind if my kid smokes. And then Slither, The Benchwarmers, The Breakup. Really the Omen remake, Nacho Libre, Click, Superman Returns. I forget if you're mentioned.
Never seen
You, Me, and Dupree, World Trade Center, Talladega Nights. You had mentioned. Step Up, The Illusionist, Snakes on a Plane, of course, came out this year. Idlewilds, Idiocracy, The Wicker Man, Little Children, Man of the Year. This is also a Clinton year because Flags of Our Fathers. Shut up, Dave. Flags of Our Fathers and Letters from Iwo Jima came out. I also really like Marie Antoinette, A Good Year, Stranger Than Fiction, Apocalypto, The Holiday, Pursuit of Happiness, Rocky Balboa, Good Shepherd, Night at the Museum, people. Come on. And We Are Marshall. I will now shut the fuck up, you dick. Do you have any time to talk about the movie? Pirates of the Caribbean?
You're like 20, we got 10 minutes each.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Dave, did you watch it? Dave, did you watch this again this week? It's on Disney+.
Yes, I did. I absolutely did. This is a ride. And I mean, not based on a ride.
It's
this
a movie,
is a ride
Dave. It's based on a ride. Yeah.
Buzzing everybody.
Fucking hell.
John's going to see Friends later, so we want to be nice and saucy.
Gotta drive.
Whoa, dear. You have chosen.
We should not laugh about that. We should not laugh. Ubers are not cheap, but they are.
Yeah, no, I don't support this.
Safe.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, there was so much good in this, but it was very stacked.
Like clunky?
Like there's just like there's a lot of action beats. It could have been a bit shorter. They went nuts with the action beats. Like they took it a little too long. Like in both of these, I want to say, like these, and we'll talk about Spider-Man later. They take so long to get to like the featured villain.
I can't believe Raiders isn't going on in these movies that are going on.
Because like Davy Jones doesn't turn up till like 50 minutes in the film, and in the next ones, like Venom doesn't turn up until like 50 minutes in either. They take so long. They've got so much other stuff to do before they get to like revealing the main villain. But when they do, Bill Nighy fucking took this role and owned it. And it was the first, like one of the first like motion tracking graphics ILM did, I want to say. that
Oscar,
was
best
so
visual effects.
fucking precise. Like every facial expression that guy pulled,
Yeah,
it
his eyes,
came
man.
through. And he's a fucking octopus. He's got an octopus for a head. But like, he was so sinister.
It's great.
And
Jones,
they,
dude.
and then they also took the really weird decision. Like, I say weird, but like, they gave the female lead layers. Like, she made
Kara?
decisions that weren't exactly possibly things you would agree with throughout the whole movie. Like when, like, I mean, this is a massive spoiler, but like when she like seduces Johnny and chains him to the fucking thing, because she's like, the Kraken's only after you. I can save my husband.
Yeah.
And chains him. Like, she has this whole extra layer to it. Like, they built up the female character a lot really well in that. I like this really a lot. I had a lot of fun
too.
on the rewatch. It was a little long. That's the only thing I'll say.
I think they all are. Yeah, I agree. I did not rewatch it this week. I'm gonna be honest. I had a busy week, so I couldn't watch everything. But we watched them for the franchise Faceoff, and I think I rewatched a couple of them since then. I like this one. I agree with you, Dave, that I don't think it's as tight as number one, and that might be the ultimate problem with as they continue into their franchise. They're just not quite as airtight. They rely a lot on their action sequences, which get more and more spectacular. But ultimately, all you're really wanting from these, Jeffrey Rush set such a high bar with the first one.
Yeah.
And I think Bill Nighy's Davy Jones,
Barbosa.
I think he does a good job. It's, we're kind of expecting it now, which like that's the hard part about franchise. You're kind of expecting another performance like that,
Yeah.
but I think he brings
there's
it.
I think there's a reason Jeffrey Rush Brett walks down the stairs at the end of that movie.
Yeah,
Of
and
this
does
movie?
that
It's
Does
like we're
that
never
work
going
for
to do
you?
better than this. Yeah.
Of this
does that
movie,
work
or-
for you that he's
Yeah,
back?
because he nailed the fucking first one so well.
I
When
feel
he turned up and he's
cold.
like, "Yeah, I'm your captain now," it's like, "Oh fucking hell!" Like,
You
it's
better
a
stop
great
believing
moment.
in ghost stories. You're in one. Back to work. Oh
So
my
good.
god, he's so good.
They never
What are you
have
looking at? Back to
this
work.
one. This
That's my
one
Jeffrey
again.
Rush.
The Jeff O line. They had a lot of. They were clearly having fun. Like everybody knew what their job was in
Yeah.
this movie. I think they pulled it off successfully, and everybody was having a blast. And you could just see like these so many serious actors. And I do want to point out that I completely agree, Dave. The best thing about the writing for these movies for me is that the relationship between Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley, and Johnny Depp, so the two of them and Johnny Depp's pirate, are never rock solid. There's always a little bit of doubt toward Johnny, and therefore we always have a little bit of doubt of, can we trust him all the time?
I mean,
yeah, he's
to
this
be
buffoon,
honest,
but
like
they also try
this
to
is
make him
the
out to be
best-
kind of like a genius.
This is
and
the best
because
role
of
Johnny
that-
Depp's ever played. I
That's
would
not
say
true. But there's
consistently.
it's for somebody who presents himself as such a buffoon, they do a really good job of giving him a lot of there's more depth to him in terms of his scheming. You're never quite sure like where he's going to be, and he always turns out to be a little bit smarter or a little bit dumber than you expected, and you can never quite put your finger on it.
It's great.
It's,
yeah.
it's the
I feel
worst.
like they
It's
did
the
really a
worst
good
though,
job
because
with that.
it's like even when he fucks up, he pivots and succeeds. It's one of those people you love to hate.
I think this movie's 20 minutes too long, and it's all in the action sequences. 'Cause I think the movie itself was surprisingly entertaining for me.
It's a good one. It's the last for me. It's the last really good Pirates movie.
Yeah. I remember seeing the first one in theaters, and I showed up with my friend.
You're
Like,
not wrong.
I showed up with my friend like when the movie started, back when you didn't have assigned seats. And I remember having to sit in like the second row because it was so packed, and just being knocked out by the first. I think the first movie is such a fun, especially to give you that like kid, sense of like wonderment and pirates. Like, pirates are something we all grew up with.
shit,
and it's
dude. Come
so
on, yeah.
The
good.
first, the first movie I saw as part of a triple feature, and it was Scary Movie 3 and something else, and
Triple
this.
feature.
Yeah,
Oh
it was a
my
triple
God.
feature. We were there for like
Everyone
hours.
went home alone that night.
And you pay for this ticket, you went in, and I got through Scary Movie. I'm like, whatever, I'll fucking sleep through Pirates, whatever that is. And it blew me the fuck away. I didn't sleep a minute. And we're talking like 2 in the morning.
What a glowing review.
2 in the morning, though.
So,
like,
well, I say that because so in this movie, they made the choice to do the callbacks. You even had the dog with the keys in this movie. You had
they had
the monkey again. You needed the dog with the keys that was guarding the prison in the first movie. I don't know if you needed that.
No, that's from the ride. You need a reference to the ride.
But now we're on the second movie. They can do whatever they want. I think so. So when they go to like the Caribbean island, it's the action sequences are great, but it got a little silly. Where Jack all of a sudden is a god. They did the 3PO thing. Get out of here. Where they do the C-3PO thing, where he's a god, and they don't know if he's lost his way. But I agree with what you're saying, John, in the sense that like you never knew what he was up to. So in this, for that reason, maybe honestly, like. I think the big knock on this is that the plot is complicated because you have these multiple plots that all intersect. So it opens with essentially the same thing as the first one where there's this hanging, right? Or at least the end of the first one, except now it's raining and they're going to speed through it. And it's Will and Elizabeth are hanging for abetting pirates. Also, Tom Hollander, who's one of my favorite British actors, I've seen him in a play, is essentially playing the exact same role he played when he played King George III in John Adams. It's just like that British royal role, except in this case, it's the East India Trading Company.
I forgot that was him.
Yeah, the East India Trading Company. So anyway, so they need to do that unless they get this thing from Jack, which is the compass, and that's actually because of his number 2, Tom Hollander's number 2, who happens to be, what the fuck is that guy's name from the first one? The guy that's supposed to be engaged to Elizabeth, to Keira Knightley in the first movie. Meanwhile, Captain Jack has to go to find this ship from hell to get the heart, which is in a chest. So it's very complicated. And then all of a sudden you're on this Caribbean island with these weird fucking like tumbling, rolling spin wheels and guys that are running around in one of those like connects things where like somehow they can run around but they can't escape it. And it's like, it's a little silly and it runs on forever. But the actual plot and the boat from hell, and then when you meet Bootstraps, and he slowly gets worse and worse throughout the film, he gets more and more gross, and it's Stellan Skarsgård. All of that stuff, Will meeting Elizabeth again, it's really good. I really like that stuff. It's just the action sequences are way too long. And if they tightened it up, it would make it more believable that they decided to raise people from the dead. That they literally were like, let's raise people from the dead and hope the audience doesn't mind. And I don't know, it works. I thought it was cool because they did introduce it. They introduced it in the first one that they're undead, so they have some magic. They can play with magic. The rum jokes, back on the island.
Oh my God. The universal question, why is the rum always gone?
And it's all good. They pull it up well. But also, but what it allows Johnny Depp to do is you never know what he's playing because there's so many different moving pieces to this. Is he helping Will and that? Is he finding the heart? Is he conniving? Is he using people? And I really think that works really well for this main character that in a way gets sidelined with all these side plots, but it really works well.
It is interesting. Just how you're able to have a main character in this kind of movie almost be an anti-hero, a bumbling anti-hero who's never actually in control. It's I've never really seen another series pull that off before.
He's absolutely unscrupulous. Like you cannot trust him. He will sell you out. He's a pirate.
Is the third one Ian McShane? Is that Blackbeard?
I think that's the fourth one.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
World's
matter.
End?
No, the third one is when they go to the underworld and bring Johnny back. I think Blackbeard is the fourth one,
Yeah, no, that is because that's what Barbossa does. They basically make a deal with the dead, who's Barbossa, to help find the Flying Dutchman.
Voodoo person. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about that shit. I tried to watch all these during the franchise face-off. Jeff, you're right. I think this movie, even if you just took out the spinning wheels part, I think it would probably be a better movie. I feel like there's some silliness in the action that...
You know what? I was on board for that.
Like you want some silliness in this movie.
And Jack falls 600 feet and doesn't die. Like those things. They're really they're playing with fire with that kind of stuff. Bring people back from the dead, but like falling 700 feet, it gets a little tricky. But I still think on the whole it works. But they really walked up to the line.
I do definitely think it works. And for me, it's always going to be relative to the villain. And I think Bill Nighy did a wonderful job.
Just the best.
He really did.
Yes.
He met the bar of Jeffrey Rush.
I didn't know who he was. I looked him up and I was like, oh my God, that's the guy from Love Actually.
Shaun of the Dead.
Like, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know he was a legend. I knew he was awesome.
Fucking legend, dude.
Ian McShane is not in At World's End. He's on Stranger Tides, which is the fourth movie.
Who's the villain in 3?
It is. I remember them like literally crashing into the end of the world.
We may literally be talking about it.
You still have Tom Hollander. You still have Tom Hollander.
All right.
At World's End. Oh, At World's End it's not a supernatural villain. It's the British.
Yeah.
It's the It's the God damn it! Who's the head of the Navy? What's the name of their title? Starts with an A. Not the name, like
the admiral.
Every admiral. Yeah, it's whoever that admiral is. That it might be him. It might be
Tom
Hollander.
Does he becomes the admiral, right?
Yeah, I think
it's still him. I think it's still him. He's so good.
I mean,
that famous shot where he's walking in slow motion and the wood's just exploding behind him.
That's why it sold tickets in Australia. It's like anytime the British are fucking with us, it's like I'm on.
You guys fucking love it. You fucking.
We will buy tickets to watch the British get their ass kicked.
Masochistic.
Well, Dave will read it at the end, but At World's End had a $300 million budget and grossed just under $1 billion worldwide. So I don't know. It might not have been the highest grossing movie of 2007.
Don't think it was, to be honest. All right,
no, it wasn't.
Let us talk about what it's up against now, which is...
Oh, actually, it was, but it wasn't a summer movie.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And it was 2 hours and 49 minutes too, which did no service. So 2007
did no service at all.
Our movie is Spider-Man 3, which is actually the third highest worldwide movie of the year, but the highest grossing summer movie. John,
because everybody loves Spider-Man 2.
Let's talk domestic. That's why. That's right. Fuck yeah.
2007. All right. So Spider-Man 3. Folks, we are in the fucking age of franchises now. Jeff made the joke, but like we're stuck here. Number 2 is fucking Shrek the Third. Like we're just we're just in this world now. So Spider-Man 3 number 1.
Hey,
Shrek
we know
the
what
Third,
makes
number
money.
2.
Let's just keep making that.
Oh, I'm actually wrong.
Proof that Americans will see the same movie 5 times.
Spider-Man 3 just out-earned.
Or in the case of Fast and the Furious, 10 times.
It's fucking crazy.
They filmed these back to back. I forgot they did these back to back. 2006, 2007, both Pirates, both summer movies. But Spider-Man 3.
Number 3 is Transformers. Number 4 is the third Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. Number 5, somehow, because it still came out in the summer, I remember seeing it, Harry Potter Order of the Phoenix. Mm-hmm. I don't think the world was as excited about the 5th book being turned into a movie just because it's a heavy one.
Oh, Harry
gets
so angry.
really like that movie.
That has the best villain ever.
I like number 5 and number 6 a lot. But
Olivier Award winner.
Bourne Ultimatum, number 6. Number 7, 300. Hell yeah.
Dude, yeah. We all saw that. We all saw that. It was like, it's 6, but with shields and swords. It's like...
Every girlfriend had sex that night when they saw that. Every girlfriend was like, all right, let's go.
Pixar, still top 10. One of my maybe top 3 Pixar movies, Ratatouille. Number 8 for the year.
Got a mention in Everything Ever All at Once.
Oh my God, Raccoonatouille.
Raccoonatouille.
Number 9, I Am Legend, and number 10, The Simpsons movie.
Hell yeah!
Are you kidding? That's fucking great. Fuck yeah, Matt Groener. Jeff, why don't you give us the Oscars?
Funny enough, the Golden Compass did well worldwide, but like nobody in America gave a fuck about the Golden Compass.
Nobody did.
So this is maybe my favorite Oscars year of my lifetime. This is No Country for Old Men wins a whole bunch of awards but it's up against There Will Be Blood. Sweeney Todd won Best Musical, and I disagree with that, but whatever. And then Atonement.
What was it up against?
Wins the BAFTA. I don't know. Who cares? Comedies, I'm sure. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, the score.
You don't agree, but you didn't do your research.
I think Atonement is a great romantic British war drama.
Yeah.
For what it is, and it introduced us to some incredible actors, including Saoirse, who was 12 years old and was nominated for an Oscar for that. The Diving Bell and the Butterfly also won some shit. Julian Schnabel, shout out. So the Oscar winners, honestly, like this year, you have Daniel Day-Lewis and Javier Bardem winning the 2 male awards. And then you have Marion Cotillard for La Vie en Rose, which is a surprise for a lot of people that weren't following shit until you actually watched La Vie en Rose and you went, oh my God, the most beautiful, stunning, brilliant actor in the world just did that. That movie, she is so good in La Vie en Rose. And then Tilda Swinton, the alien, sent from above from who knows what time and who knows what space. She wins for Michael Clayton, which is a fantastic script. I mean, get the fuck out. That is an unbelievable 1, 2, 3, 4 of acting performances.
Yes,
other notable performances that year, Tommy Lee Jones gave 2 because he had No Country for Old Men. And then The Valley of Eli, he was nominated for an Oscar, and he knew he wasn't going to win against Daniel, but that was great. All the actors in I'm Not Here. Kate Blanchett was nominated. People thought she might win. Yeah. Charlie Wilson's War. I really love Philip Seymour Hoffman in that. He was nominated. Ruby Dee, an American Gangster, featuring Denzel and Russell Crowe. Gone Baby Gone. Ben Affleck showed up. He had already done The Town, I think. But no, he hadn't done The Town. But Gone Baby Gone was like, oh my God, he can do this. Amy Ryan was especially great in that. Into the Wild. Sean Penn and Emile Hirsch. That movie's fantastic. Diablo Cody wins for Juno. Ratatouille animated movie. And then Johnny Greenwood loses Best Score to Dario Marianelli for Atonement, and Falling Slowly wins Best Song over all the Enchanted songs. I have a very short list, Dave, I promise. Other movies that came out this year: Epic Movie, Smoking Aces, Music and Lyrics, Zodiac. Guys, get at me. Zodiac is a surprisingly good movie.
Even Smoking Aces is good.
Black Snake, I've seen Zodiac like 4 times.
It is good.
Black Snake Moan is very strange, but very, very good. Casey
I've
Affleck
never
loves
seen
that.
it.
It's very strange, but it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Premonition, Shooter, Blades of Glory to our comedy fans.
Shooter!
Grindhouse, Disturbia, Shia, get out there. Hot Fuzz comes out this year. Listen to our
was great.
franchise Face-Off, where we talk about Hot Fuzz. Waitress, Adrienne Shelley, who passed away at the end of right after she did Waitress. John and I went into the Adrienne Shelley Foundation when we saw the Ballad Jack Rose. 28 weeks later, Bug, Knocked Up, Evan Almighty, Sunshine, Hot Rod, Stardust, Superbad. Great year for comedies.
Hot
Balls
Rod
of
is one of
Fury.
the worst films I've seen in a long time.
Okay. 310 to Yuma, Halloween, Shoot 'em Up, Brother Solomon, Eastern Promises, Mr. Woodcock, Darjeeling Leamington, Uncross the Universe, Lars and the Real Girl. So that was a good act, all those good acting performances. And then The Kite Runner is a fantastic movie based on a book. That's it.
Yeah.
2007. Dave, did you rewatch Spider-Man 3?
I want to shout out. I also want to shout out really fast. Hold on, wait. Away from Her, Sarah Polley's. I think it was her first.
Christie,
Was that her first directed? That movie
Julie
fucking blew me the fuck away. And there was one more, and it doesn't matter. Dave, what'd you think, dude?
Of Spider-Man 3?
Yeah. Hold your horses too. Don't get too upset, Dave. I feel like steam is about to come out your ears. The success of number 1 and number 2, we all could not have been more excited about this one.
Oh my God. And Alfred Molina as the villain. And
Dave, what happened?
It's really funny because in my notes, the first thing I have written is what went wrong here. And
I
what
have
went
some
wrong?
ideas.
Oh my God. Really? No. What went wrong here was Raimi didn't want to do Venom. He didn't think he could do it justice in the time he had because he wanted to do Sandman because he liked the way Sandman's villain was kind of, he could play with that a little bit. And the studio forced Venom onto him. So Venom doesn't turn up until the 50 fucking minute mark of this movie. There is so much crammed into this, and it's almost the same mistake he made with Multiverse of Madness. It's like nobody wants to watch the hero become a selfish asshole, like even before he's infected by Venom, and then go full incel for like 80% of the movie. Like he's literally telling Mary Jane, "It's okay, I understand. Like I'm famous, like I get it." And like her career is failing. He's not sympathizing. He's being a full fucking dick. Like they made you hate the hero of the story. Why?
John?
Mine's going to be more specific. No, that
Put a button
stuff,
on that.
That stuff I think bothered me less than the failure of pulling off Tobey Maguire as a cool goth ladies man. Like planting
with that weird hair.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
And
about,
also,
Dave. And
like in the clips they were showing of the ladies reacting to him, there was mixed messages there as well. It's like some of them were like, "Oh," because he's got the Venom thing, and some of them were like, "Ugh."
Ew.
And it was like,
yeah, maybe
there wasn't
it was
a
lack
clear
of
message
clarity,
there as
but
well.
It's just so weird. So I'm going to echo
Also,
everything
there
you're
was
saying.
no
like,
fucking reason for it. But anyway,
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what was happening there. The establishment. I did watch this one because I think I was way late to. I didn't go see this one because I heard it was bad, and I think I eventually did watch it.
Same thing.
On DVD later. So I think I'd only seen this one time, so I didn't remember a lot of it. And when I was watching it, the first hour or so, I was like, this wasn't as bad as I remember. And then
Yeah.
they start, these too many characters start kind of coming together. And at the center of it is Tobey Maguire kind of getting eaten up by Venom and turning into his goth Venom version.
But like an hour into the movie.
Yeah.
You've already seen him be a dick for an hour without Venom's help.
Even that like bothered me a little bit less, like because I felt like they were like planting these seeds, and then it just didn't. The humanity aspect of that stuff, if that didn't work for you, I get it, but there was still humanity in it. Like I could have seen them using that as ways to bring Mary Jane and him apart from each other and then back together. But the fact that it was so heightened in a cheap way by Venom turning him into this like weird version of himself because he was wearing the suit all the time.
Yeah.
I just don't, the campiness of it, and I'm sorry, but like very, very technically, and I'm not picking on Tobey Maguire, but he can't dance. Like the dance sequence, there were so many things that were supposed to, I think they were sincerely supposed to make him look cool and sexy, and they didn't. It just didn't at all. It just ruins it.
I mean,
when he does that salsa thing in that club, the movie's over.
But also, like Gwen Stacy at that point, who was the love interest in this film, even she is like, really, you do this for her? I'm out. And it's like, that is, Gwen Stacy was cast so wrong for what we know Gwen Stacy is.
Didn't like it?
No, it's bad.
And I don't know who Gwen Stacy is at all. So personally, for me, like, I don't give a fuck about like whoever she is in the comics. And even up to that moment, like when Peter Parker in his celebration. You've seen
Spider-Verse, right? Like that's the Gwen Stacy we ended up with.
I have seen it, and I don't know who you're talking about.
Well, it's
the main girl.
You've seen Spider-Verse? Yeah, that's Gwen Stacy. Gwen Spider.
I don't really remember.
Yeah.
Who she is. I
like
know
she has so much more potential than what they showed in this film, and that's hindsight speaking. But even so, like even the casting was a little wrong. It was just like they misused her really badly.
I mean, Bryce Dallas Howard's good. She just anyway. This I think I'm with you in that, especially given the first movie into the second movie into this. When I started this movie too, I was expecting it to be just awful, and it didn't seem that way for a long time. Tobey Maguire is just not cool. And I think that was okay for this iteration of Spider-Man. That it is this not cool guy that can do cool shit. And they like kind of found this niche. Whereas Tom Holland, not to compare, seems fucking cool. And you see him stumbling and you see why he can come across as like the bumbling nerdy, whatever. But like there's something about this guy that's just fucking cool. People just need to recognize it. But nothing about Tobey Maguire seems cool in any of these movies. And in this one, to try to make him cool, whatever, like what do you call it? When, like
they'd already made him cool. That was the thing.
Nah,
they broke him down.
He wasn't cool.
He was absolutely cool. His battle with Doc Ock was fucking legendary, and it passed on through, like the Spider-Man movie with like No Way Home when they brought Tobey Maguire into the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe. He was a cool character.
I have to disagree.
Yeah, I disagree too. Like on the face, the actor Tobey Maguire is cool. It's not that his Spider-Man isn't cool. So we're just saying, like, because the actor. I mean, the fact that he can beat
ass. Maybe that's not the right way of phrasing it. No, fuck it. The fact that he can beat ass is cool. I should phrase it differently.
They're also just.
But nobody thinks he's just a piano aficionado who can dance and have Pete Wentz hair.
There was no history of him playing the piano at this point.
And forget about the fact that like New York City is a very big city and they just keep all going to the same bars and things. There's 1,000 bars in the city, but they all end up the same way. Forget about that kind of stuff. It's just not cool. This movie's not cool. There's nothing cool about this movie. Topher Grace isn't cool in this. J.K. Simmons does his best, but there's just something about it. When Tobey Maguire's like, "Kiss me," people will love it. I'm like, man, that is just not cool. That's just, I don't know any kids that's watching that being like, yeah, I want to be the upside down kiss. People watched it and they're like, oh shit, that's hot. And this one, it was like, man, skip. I don't know.
Don't spend enough. Cool. I also don't think we spend enough time with each villain to really ramp up motivations for what eventually turned into a big fight, and then with him and Harry, a big fight, and then coming together. I just feel like it's spread a little too thin between the three of them: Harry, Topher Grace and what's his name is Sandman. What's his name, Jeff? In Sideways?
Thomas Hayden Church. We just talked about
Thomas
him last
Hayden
year.
Church,
Yeah,
yeah.
Sideways.
And because of that,
Who
by the end
reprised
of
his
this
role
movie,
in the Tom Holland film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did. By the end of this movie, when you have them all come together, you kind of it's the superhero trap where for nerds who love the series, they might have enough investment because they know the backstories. For somebody like me, I feel like I'm in shallow water and I'm just watching an action scene.
Also, nobody wanted to do Venom at all. Nobody wanted to do Venom. It was an afterthought. The studio wanted it. Sam Raimi didn't want it. Topher Grace didn't really want it. Nobody
Sam
wanted
Raimi
to
always
do
ends
Venom.
up in these studios that make him do shit he doesn't want to do, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doctor
So
Strange.
ultimately, this movie, I
It's
think,
just not cool.
I think
It's just
upon
not a
my
cool movie.
rewatch,
It's too bad.
yeah, upon my rewatch, it still stands as probably as weak as we all kind of collectively thought it was at the time. It's just there are too many mistakes
Too
in the
bad,
last
yeah.
hour. In the last
Gonna buzz
hour
all of
of
us
the
because
movie.
you all agree.
It did not pull. I was really hoping for it to pull a Mission Impossible 2, and for me to be like, this was not that bad, man. Everybody was fucking. People still talk shit about this all the time. It just has too many mistakes.
Yeah, there's too much. It's too long. Like he threw Venom in as an afterthought almost.
Very long. Yeah,
and
it's like
we've seen
2:23.
better Venom since in a movie that did much less gross, I want to say. But
I kind of like the grounded stuff between Spider-Man and Mary Jane, like when she was struggling and she couldn't tell him, and then he wanted to talk to her, but he
great.
had his own
I like
alternate
that
reality.
too.
And then when he had to like respond to the police call, and he knew she would understand, even though it seemed like she didn't want him to go. That tension was cool for me. That was something. And then
Which
just
is
the showy
probably,
stuff.
Dave, to what you're saying, if Venom really had nothing to do with this, that probably was in the movie already, and Sandman was just going to be.
yeah.
I don't know if Harry was still involved. I don't know if he needed to be involved, but
I think Harry
the
was
first
still
hour,
involved. They'd
up to
set
the
him up.
midpoint of this movie, it's a good movie. Like it feels like
Yeah.
it's just as good as 1 and 2. Anyway, so there you go. I don't think we need to belabor it any more than that.
Well,
we
let's
have
move on.
2007's
Spider-Man 3.
shit. What did we just talk about?
Spider-Man 3.
Before that.
Dead Man's
Chest
Dead Man's
2006.
Chest.
Dead Man's Chest.
2006 versus 2007's
Well,
Spider-Man 3.
I have
No
a feeling
contest for me.
gonna
It's
be a
Dead
clean
Man's
sweep.
Chest.
Dead Man's Chest blew me away.
Dead Man's
Dave?
Chest all the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Not a difficult decision there. So we have for 2004, 2005, we ended up, sorry, Dave, it probably could have been, maybe should have been Shrek 2, but it's not. It's Revenge of the
You'll hear
Sith.
from the Marvel movie show.
Sure. And then 2006, 2007, we're giving it to Dead Man's Chest. If I'm being totally honest, you guys, not that these weren't 4 amazing years of movies outside of these movies, but compared to our 4 last week, this was not as much fun for me.
No.
I don't think any of these are going to make
No.
it past the next
Fair.
round anyway.
We'll see.
Last week felt like a real standout. So it is what it is.
Raiders and
I hope we're not
Ghostbusters
moving
could have been
into,
a top 4, top 8. And
Yeah.
instead, these fucking movies.
You
get
know
to go
what?
on.
Maybe we'll open up wild cards and we can throw some back in there if people
Yeah,
vote
Do it
hard
right now.
enough.
Should we just
Yeah,
move those
come
two
on.
up? 80s
Yeah,
were
we can-
better
we can-
summer movies. I don't know what to tell you. 80s were
You're
better
allowed
summer
to fuck with the program, guys. It's our show, our rules. Just fuck with the program.
All right, but these two are going on as of now. All right.
All right, I have them
Go
up
ahead.
here if you want me to. Unless Dave, I have them right here. Unless you want to rip them off. We already mentioned it, so I'm excited to talk about it. We talked about how in 2004,
Dark Knight's got to be 2008.
yeah, number 1 came out July 18th. Dark Knight. I've seen that movie a gajillion times. I'm probably going to rewatch it just because I love it so much.
Yeah, I probably will too.
So
It's
number,
against.
yeah, fucking the second Transformers movie, Revenge of the. Is it Machines? What is the end of that
Fallen.
title?
Revenge of the Fallen. It's like the
Revenge of the
it's like
Fallen. Jesus Christ.
third
God, it's gonna be a
Transformers
tough
movie, isn't
battle.
it?
Are you ready? Guys, we have another emotional Toy Story 3 for 2010. I'm so excited. That movie, when they're all about to die together, when they hold hands, I'm going to be weeping. I might push that one through.
When they write a note
Up
to Andy.
against.
Up against 2011 Deathly Hollows, folks. 2011
Part
Harry
two?
Potter and
Deathly
the
Hallows
Deathly
Part
Hollows.
2.
Part 2. The final.
And I
the
want to say,
last.
I had a friend I picked up from work one day. We were having a film meeting, and he's like, "I can't have the film meeting yet. Everyone has to wait." I'm like 10 pages or like 2 pages, like 15 pages or whatever off the end of Harry Potter. I need to read this.
Yeah.
And we all sat in the fucking apartment and waited for him to finish reading the book.
John and I were at CPCC and some kid spoiled the ending for another kid, and the kid cried. We were trying to do Children of Eden, and our fucking young Abel is crying. And we're like, shit. Somebody spoiled the end of Harry Potter.
My God, that's so fucked.
That'll
That'll be a good one. I'm looking forward to all 4 of those movies. It'll be fun.
That's gonna be hard.
I'm looking forward to 3.
One of those is gonna be hard.
3 of them for sure.
All right,
you don't like Toy Story 3, Jeff?
2 of them.
Oh, it's Transformers. Excuse me.
Shit.
Look, everybody, that sound. Wait. That sound means it is officially time. Oh my God, we're just. All of those sounds. All of those sounds.
It's like that. Look up the fireworks display in Cleveland. It's like fucking everyone fired
John,
everything all at once.
Drink anything else for the rest of this goddamn night. You just fired the whole stream deck after this. Guys, it is officially time for us to wrap up the episode with a quick round of what you've been watching, where we tell you what we've been watching. Dave, we'd like to start with you. What have you been watching this week?
Dude, I've been watching Black Mirror, the new season. Oh, holy fucking shit. Episode 1,
yeah.
Ridiculously good. Episode 2, yeah, okay. Episode 3, what the fuck?
Nice,
and they've taken a weird step of setting all of these back in the 60s and 70s. So it's not like future tech.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I'm so behind in Black Mirror. I don't think I saw any of the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, the first episode. Oh my God, dude, that's so good.
I think the last one I saw was that Christmas special with John Hamm. Like, when was that? That was like pre-pandemic. It was a long time ago.
No idea what you're talking about. I don't remember the John Hamm one.
It was like a standalone episode. It was like an hour and a half with John Hamm and Daniel Radcliffe.
Bandersnatch?
No. It was before that. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. No, this was good. It's like episode 1 is great. Episode 2 is weird but good. Episode 3 is like holy fucking shit. Yeah.
Wow. John.
Beautiful. I watched had a little run here where first just Max was pushing it really hard and I really enjoyed it. I watched the Ruck Hudson documentary, which was lovely, and ended up getting into, of course, eventually because he was gay and died of AIDS, it ended up touching on those subjects. So kind of
also
like right
a
after
living
that,
legend in my lifetime, I want to say.
I mean, fucking Rock Hudson, dude. Yeah, he's
dude. The
man.
Hudson Files. He had your own fucking show named after you.
After that, we watched just because it kind of we started talking to each other about AIDS crisis and everything. We watched A Normal Heart. Elizabeth had never seen that. Really beautiful, and we're about to watch Milk because she had never seen that one. So anyway, watch those 2 movies, and then on Thursday, I had a fantastic Thursday, you guys. I'm in a Tarantino critical studies class, so like getting to watch all his movies on the big screen. Thursday,
wait, does anyone criticize Tarantino?
Well, it's other than you two, yeah. I think people feel very comfortable criticizing him. I don't personally. I fucking love him. But Thursday, I had a great day.
Buzzing you for that motherfucker.
Fuck you. In class, I saw Pulp Fiction, and then that night, I went to a 70mm festival here at the American Cinematheque, and I saw Boogie Nights.
How was that?
Fucking great day. It was beautiful. It's not. They didn't do any. It didn't look like they did a lot of restoration. So I saw the 35mm print at the Metrograph in New York. They did not
film it in 70mm. So
yeah, of course.
I was curious.
So I saw that 35mm print, and it was scratchy and really grainy.
And
great. This one was printed last year, this 70mm, and Paul oversaw it, but they did not do a lot of cleanup. I think probably on purpose. So it still felt kind of torn up and a little grainy, but it fit the piece. It really fit the piece well. It was awesome. The crowd was super pumped and everybody was psyched. It was Paul's copy. Pretty fucking cool.
Paul's
it was
copy,
fun.
he says.
Yeah, he just rolled his own reel in.
At the end of the month, they're showing a 70mm of the original theatrical release of Apocalypse Now. It is Scorsese's personal copy that has been like in a vault for like 37 years, and he gave it to him just for this little summer run. How good is that?
Maybe I'll come over for that.
I can't go see that one, but
I might come over for that.
Yeah, dude.
And then not watch it.
Vietnam. him.
Guys, I haven't seen shit because you motherfuckers made me watch
these
4
fucking movies.
2.5-hour movies. I watched 4 2.5-hour movies. I can't believe you watched more. I want to watch Black Mirror. I'm still behind on The Bear. There's so much shit I want to see. I'm trying to have a relationship going on here. I'm trying to give them some time. I'm trying to invest some time into this.
Jeff, you know what else? You know what else I finished listening to, and I wanted to call this out because I think both of you would really enjoy this. Jeff, I think you especially would enjoy this. It's called It's Not TV, The History of HBO. It's a book that came out last year.
God, that's cool.
I devoured this motherfucker. It was. I think both of you would really enjoy listening to it. And it's just making me want to rewatch all of the great movies and shows that HBO has produced over the past 40 years. 50
I'll give
years.
a shout out because I saw Life of Pi on Broadway. They adapted the book for the Broadway show, and that movie's fucking awesome.
What?
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be off Broadway.
Yeah.
It's going to leave. It's gonna close in a week. So if you haven't seen it yet, sorry, people,
Shit.
it was
It's not that good then.
awesome, man. It was very much like War Horse, where they had actors do the puppetry and stuff. And oh my God, Richard fucking Parker, that tiger, man. Whoever those people were that did that were fucking legends. The main guy as Pi was so good, going back and forth between the hospital and then the boat and the ocean stuff. So I'll recommend the movie, which Ang Lee, of course, won an Oscar for, Life of Pi. I'll recommend that movie because that movie was fun. Okay, that's it, people. Next week, we got a Harry Potter movie. We got a Transformers movie.
We got a Batman movie.
We got a Batman movie.
And we got a Toy Story.
We got a Toy Story movie. All fucking IPs. All franchise movies. Let's go! See you next week, film fans.
Later.